So Jeff Hurst, the Trevor Brooking and Billy Bonds, Paolo Di Canio, West Ham United. We celebrate our victories, we stick together in defeat. Proud of our history, West Ham United, more than just a podcast, more than just a podcast.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good afternoon, or evening. This is
Hello.
more than just a podcast.
Sorry
about that. It's a bank holiday special. Welcome, May bank holiday. It's May Day for all you communists out there, or socialists, or whatever you call yourselves. It's May Day, and we're trying not to be too upset with our one game this week, but we are back. We've got John. Where are you? What are you doing?
I'm at home, hoping the rain stops.
Yeah. What were you going to do today before you decided to do an impromptu podcast?
I had a day planned in my garden constructing a gazebo.
Nice.
My plan.
That got you out of that.
Well, yeah, I've still got to do it.
Nigel, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm in my shed.
Oh. Sorry, I wasn't ready for that. I thought you weren't going to say you were in your shed. I thought, has it got gutters and everything?
Has it got gutters?
Yeah, gutters. What's the rain go when it comes off the roof?
Well, it slides off the roof.
Oh, no gutters.
Is it raining where you are still, Nigel?
No, it's stopped. Stopped about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
It
mine's eased.
I was supposed to do guttering today.
Oh, but you were working this morning, doing
I did go and did a bit of
locksmithing.
Locksmithing, yeah. Did a bit yesterday as well.
Yeah.
So
help me out more later about
yeah.
my safe. Yeah, there's a good story of that, but it's not a safe podcast, so
We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah. Anywho, Canning Townend, he's got an earache at the moment.
And a headache.
And he's a bit grumpy as well. He might join us, he might not join us. So if you hear some loud noises and swearing, he obviously has joined us. But let's crack on, because we've got a football game to talk about.
Have we?
Yeah. Chelsea versus West Ham, the London derby. It was our chance to go do the double on them and leapfrog them back again into 8th place. But it didn't quite go like that. First of all, I'm going to start with you, Nigel, because John has already told me off air he didn't watch the game. I was at the game, which I'll tell you about later. But Nigel, did you watch the game first?
I have seen the game, yes.
Oh, you didn't watch it live then?
I didn't watch it live. No, I was watching Moana.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, when you get small kids, you'll find out.
It's a cartoon film, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Disney film, yeah.
Oh, right. On like streaming service, or you went to a
Yeah, on
cinema?
Disney. No, on
Right.
Disney. On Disney Channel.
Wow.
I've
How
only
times have
seen
changed?
it about probably 30 times.
And I assume this is your granddaughter.
Yes. Yeah. Who's just arrived, turned up to that just a minute ago.
Oh, excellent.
So,
Oh. Is she joining us?
well, I said bring her down.
Okay.
So we might get a bit of sense out of her
All right,
more than
yeah.
anyone else.
So did you watch the highlights? You watched the full game?
I watched an hour of it. So like
Yeah, I was going to say, could you really watch?
No, you can't,
I'm sure
no.
you knew the result.
Yeah, I
It
knew
was
the,
really hard.
the result. Obviously, I was following the chatter on the group.
Yeah.
So, and live score kindly.
Well,
texted me.
all right. Well, I'll tell you about my day, but first, let's talk to you about what you saw.
What did I see?
Was it a
I
game of
saw-
inches?
15.
Well-
just go through the 5 goals, just to remind you. Cole Palmer on 15 minutes. Gallagher going to sign for West Ham this summer on 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Madueke, I don't know.
Madueke.
Yeah,
Madueke, yeah.
36. 3-0 down after 36 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, start the next half, and Jackson scores straight after second half, starts on 48, and then he scores again on 80, 5-0.
5-0.
But we hit the post 3 times,
Bar.
and Emerson had a sitter. Don't forget that. Could have been 5-4.
Well, you say 5. You could have been, should have been.
Would have been.
It was just. I mean, if you pick it apart, defensively it was shambolic. Yeah. So part tactics, part performances. I think the players have got to look after themselves. Have got to look at themselves a lot. All right, teams lose 2-3 goals, but it's how you then react to that. And there was no, from what I saw, no reaction. What's worrying for me, the club's too busy imploding. Really, I think everybody's not bothered about the Chelsea game now, are they? So if you look at that back line, we say we were defensively shambolic. There was only one player there, really, that's not a first team starter. That if you was picking the best defence, you would go Emerson, Kufal,
Yep.
Zuma and Areola. So Ogbonna. Was Ogbonna at fault for all 5 goals?
Nope.
No, he weren't. Perhaps it exposes a bit of the folly. We've offered him a new contract, another year extension. I'm not sure about that now. It's when you look at it and you think that is perhaps this should be his last season, really, in Premier League football. I can't see after this is not the first time that's happened with him in the team. So I'm not blaming Ogbonna, but what I'm saying is when you pair him with Zuma, my God, it's
the slowest central defensive partnership.
Yeah, the thing about the low block
choice though, was there? Unless you were going to put
the low
Johnson
block
in there.
The low block works on pace. Yeah, so you have to have pace on your fullbacks, and you have to have the ability to bring the ball out quickly. Well, when you put Souček in the middle, on top of that, flat-footed. I don't know why he took Alvarez off at half time.
He called out Alvarez in his. I mean, obviously.
Was Alvarez awful? Because I've seen that he took him off. Was he awful?
Nearly everyone was awful.
Yeah, but he did call out. He seemed to have a go at.
I saw the.
He said,
Rice.
He said players needed mental toughness, and that they need to take responsibility. But then he said, "This is what happens when you sell."
Declan
your
Rice.
best player in Declan
no,
Rice.
But there's
to be a dig at Alvarez.
I don't know about that, whether it's a dig at Alvarez. At the end of the day, could we be higher up the pitch with Declan Rice in that team? Yes, we could. So he's not wrong there.
Yeah, but were we higher up the pitch when we had Declan Rice? We were like, we thought we finished 14th last season.
Well,
yeah, but this is the weird thing. So we all know what I did when I went on Claret and Blues, and I ignored the defence, and just concentrated on the amount of goals because we have scored more goals. But this is now going to be the worst ever Premier League season defensively. And bearing in mind we've been relegated 3 times from the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. And when you look at it, and David Moyes by himself is a more defensively minded manager, that's a shocking stat.
Yeah.
To concede. Well, not only that is we got 2 games left against teams that like to play.
We'll get another 4 or 5.
Listen, you could definitely see Luton getting a couple. Yeah. Now we might get a couple against Luton. We could get 3 or 4 against Luton because it could be like that. But Man City, depending on the mood they're in, here's the thing: if Man City only draw, they got Tottenham away, which actually is like their graveyard as such. They don't win there. They really struggle at White Hart Lane. So if they only get a point there, now it's down on goal difference, isn't it? They're going to need to whack us and we could whack us.
Arsenal
Oh,
on
they
83.
could definitely whack us.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Arsenal on 83 with 2
Yeah.
games to go.
Yeah,
Man City on 82 with 3 games to go.
yeah.
We could
So
be kingmakers.
But
Yes.
so look, all of that said, like, do we put that down to Rice, or do we not put that down to the
No, it's
like
nothing.
No, it's
Dawson
not on Rice.
to Dawson? You know, I mean, look at how different. I mean, Zuma can't run.
No.
Yeah.
Our defence was woeful.
Gerd, I think, is a decent player, but something's not right there. Doesn't want to play
Doesn't want
orders,
to play.
or can't deal with it. And then on top of that, you got like Mavropanos is prone to a mistake, and Ogbonu's like past his best. So
Yeah.
we're not in a very good position, are we? He sold Kira. He was prone to a mistake as well,
He's
wasn't
on
he?
loan. Yeah, I mean, and this is at the end of the day. Now the cold light of day, season's coming to end. He's moving on. We can now look and go. And part of it for me is the circus that runs the club.
Yeah.
There's as every game ticked by from January onwards, with no contract, all this, wait till the end of the season, all the rumours. The players know what's going on. You know, there'll be stories inside the club doing the rounds, what's
Sure.
going on. Yeah. So the players now have got to this arse end of the season. They know he's not going to be here, and you can see that in the performances.
We will come to that point
Yeah.
after the game.
No, but I think it's all wrapped up. What you know? I mean,
Let me
we've
ask you
just
the
been
question.
whacked by Arsenal. Hold up, we've just been whacked by Arsenal 6-0. Yeah, and since then we've been done by Palace 5-2. We've been done by Chelsea now, and we got done a couple 2-0 at home to Fulham.
Mental toughness, responsibility of the players. I just want to
Yeah.
address those 2 points from
Yeah.
David Moyes.
No,
Do you make him right on that?
If you take yes, I do make him right, but what I have heard from him is no responsibility.
No.
And there's the thing.
He did apologise to the fans.
No. It's easy
And-
to apologise to the fans. I get it. You
And
know,
then
pick
said
yourself and whatever.
he apologised and said, I take ultimate responsibility. And
But
then
I didn't
went
hear that
on,
then.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll send you it. I've got 3 interviews. His press conference.
Yeah, I've seen them.
his
I've seen
BBC
them and everything.
Yeah.
But what does he say? I take full responsibility. Where
But-
does what? Yes.
Oh, yeah,
what-
but. There is always a but.
No, but when he says I take full responsibility, does he explain? No.
No.
His explanation is, oh, these players didn't do this. Not where is his responsibility then?
No, he said. He
He's
then
not
goes
admitting
on
it.
to
It's
say,
words. It's
my
empty.
teams don't play like this. I'll
Well,
tell you
they
one
do
thing.
though, because that is his team.
I was sitting,
His Sunderland team did.
as you know,
Yeah, but that was a basket. Of Sunderland, I can forgive him because you know they were being picked apart season after season. They should have gone the year before and the year before that and the year before that under the Canio. You know, they just limped along, and in the end, they went.
Yeah. He was not happy. I was just above him because I was on the halfway line, you know, in the corporate area, and I was directly above him. Second half, he sat down. I think he stood up twice, and literally, when the whistle blew, he went down the tunnel, didn't say anything to anyone, and he allowed Kevin Nolan to greet the players off. He wasn't anywhere to be seen. He just disappeared. He was fuming. I thought he wasn't going to do the press conference, but he's legally, contractually obliged to do it, and he did it in the end, and that's where he said what he said. But I think he must know. But we're going to talk about that later. Let me just talk about Stat Attack. We had 30.6% possession, meaning they had over 69%, obviously. They had 25 shots, 14 on target. We had 13 shots, just 2 on target. Corners, we had 6 to their 8. We had 10 fouls to their 12. Dirty Chelsea. I mean, the stats sort of speak for themselves, don't they? We just
Well, the result, the stats, everything.
we just didn't turn up. And Chelsea, I'll tell you what, the Chelsea fans around me were just as surprised as we were. You know, I mean, I know they had a good game against Spurs, but
Yeah, they've picked up, haven't they? Now
They have.
they've obviously
We
jumped us,
played
and
we played them at the wrong time, but we also didn't turn up. It wasn't just a good Chelsea. It was just both. We didn't turn up, and they were playing their best, and they looked quite a good team. Maybe we flattened them.
yeah.
Anything else to say about the game
think,
before I move on to John, Nigel?
I don't think we did flatter them. I don't think we did. We put in a performance that the fans have seen, in the past 2 months, and Chelsea have actually been vastly improving as a team. You can look at them at Villa away a couple of weeks ago, and this is where I don't buy into the tired theory. Chelsea players have been playing a lot of games recently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He likes to spout that one, doesn't he? The 13 extra games.
They've got a lot of injuries, so he's playing. They've been playing midweek and whatever, and they've played cup games. They got to a final and a semi-final, and if you look, their teams don't look tired. That's an excuse of a team that keeps losing. Oh, they're tired, because when teams win, they never come out and say, "Oh, the players are tired." It's only when they lose. That's a woeful excuse. So I won't ever have it. And a lot of the fans say it. Oh, he's flogged them to death. I don't think he has. I just think the players can't be bothered.
Yeah, they're on their deck chairs, as they say.
Yeah.
He's lost the room.
Did you watch? Did you watch any of the game, Johnny?
No, I didn't, mate. Honestly,
watch the highlights. You didn't watch the 5 goals scored.
Honestly, why would I?
Or the 3 times we hit the post and
I had the day booked out to go and visit the in-laws, and after that, I wasn't going to go and face the football.
It's Winchester. They still live in Winchester.
They do, yeah. So I didn't, So no, I didn't. Well, no, I saw all the chat. I saw all the bits and pieces, and I just no. It's been a long day. Let's not make it longer.
I do love how the club sent out a message just before the game going with a tube station going east meets west via the underground or something. We go tube strike.
Yeah, well, that's just them, innit?
I had to go
Shouldn't be surprised.
as I was just saying off air, I had to get a train to Clapham Junction and then go to Imperial Wharf. And then, lucky enough, the rain stayed off long enough for a 14-minute walk to Stamford Bridge.
Good.
But the food was nice. Just a quick one for my day out. I took my whole family. There was 6 of us. My daughter's 21st, Sophia. My son, Finley. My mum, by the way, she's a Chelsea fan. I know. First time at Stamford Bridge, probably like a lot of Chelsea fans. My mum, Sylvie, and my fiancée, Shireen, West Ham, obviously, and my stepdaughter, Julia. We were all there. Nice.
Tell them about the food I missed, Sean.
Oh, yeah, it was a nice little sort of truffle mushroom sort of starter. Not starter, hors d'oeuvre at the beginning when we came in. Obviously, free bar. And then quite a few spiced rum and cokes on the way. And then I think it was a mackerel starter for me, followed by this chicken, sort of roast chicken medley, and then a banoffee sort of mousse for afterwards. Not forgetting mini pies at half time and a cheese course at full time with afternoon tea. It was jolly. The food was gorgeous. You'd have loved it, Nigel.
Don't look like it, mate.
On our table, by the way, hello Mick from Sharks, Hollywood Bet Sharks in South Africa. On our table, because we had a big table of 12 right at the end in Canaletto's, which is this Italian restaurant inside Stamford Bridge, and they were the owners of a rugby team. The owner was a New York guy. What's his name? Marco Mansotti. Apparently, he's a New York lawyer. Bought the this rugby team called the Sharks, or one of the best rugby teams. He's over here They've just got into the final, which is going to be played at Spurs Stadium, and I think they own the Saracens as well. And Barry, the reason he was there, and I was next to one of them, the whole management team was there having a day watching EPL. Was he'd helped Todd Bowley buy Chelsea. That's why he was in corporate that day. Small
As you
world.
do.
But Mick, I think he's the chief brand officer, said he was going to listen to this podcast. So hello, Mick. Good. I hope you're listening.
Chief Grant, what for Chelsea? Chief Grant?
No, for the Sharks,
Oh right.
the rugby Sharks. There you go.
You
Whatever.
didn't get my joke that I was more of a.
What? Go on. Say it again. I might get it the second time.
Well, I said you said he was a lawyer in New York and he likes the Sharks, and I said, well, I'm more of a Jets.
Oh, got it.
Have you?
Is that a team?
No.
Is that an American
No, it was a
football team?
film, Sean.
West
was
Side
it?
Story, Sharks and Jets.
Oh, right. Sorry, I haven't watched that film.
La la la
Is it
la
new?
la, man. No, West Side Story.
Is it?
I'm
No.
joking. I'm
Fucking
joking.
hell.
I'm joking.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Anywho.
Anyway, any news, Sean?
Well. So look, I have already rung Nick up, right? He a short apology because he sent me quite a forceful note after last week.
You've already rung who?
Nick, who I had a bet with, Muppet or Puppet, on £100 bet on whether Moyes would go.
What, Nick from Claret and Booze.
Nick from Claret and Booze. And last week I intimated that he said it was a done deal and Amram was coming, etc. He reminded me afterwards. He was fine when I rang him up. He goes, I was joking, Sean. I was joking to you. I wasn't being serious. So he was joking, right? He did say it, but he was joking. Anyway, I have thrown in the towel. I've conceded. David Moyes, everyone will know this, is going. And it now looks like, I was talking to some people who I can't name, but I was talking this morning. It now looks like that the announcement will be made before the Luton game on Saturday. There will be some kind of announcement, but David Moyes has decided, and the club decided not to extend the contract for next season by mutual agreement, something along those lines. Might even say, like Sam Allardyce did, Sam Allardyce decided not to extend his contract, save him a bit of face. When we all know he was never going to be offered a contract. But, it does mean, I'm not sure if you saw, but there was I hope you did because I sent it to you. There was an article by Henry Winter from the Times saying that, the board should show David Moyes respect by making an announcement. And I think it's gone beyond a joke now. It's not sustainable, all right? In the past, you go, yeah, we're waiting for the end of the season. We're waiting for the meeting. We're waiting for the meeting in May. Well, I mean, it comes that Sky News, not Sky Sports News, Sky News was breaking news. It came up on my app this morning going, David Moyes to leave. I mean, Fabrizio, obviously, been talking about it. David Ornstein in the Athletic. Anyone who's anyone, Jacob Steinberg, Gary Jacobs, everybody, Henry Winter, as we said, is talking about it now. It's a worst kept secret in football. And David Moyes must know it deep down. Just no one's actually said the word. He's a dead man walking. And I hope, my understanding is, as it stands today, and we're recording on Bank Holiday Monday, is I don't think there will be an official announcement as such from the club, but I believe the question will be asked in the press conference ahead of Luton, which will probably be this Friday, might even be Thursday, and he will probably announce it then. And that will be it, speculation. We all know where we stand. Now, so that's the announcement that David Moyes is not staying, and we all know that by now, but just confirmation. And then it's who will be. Now, as you know, I've been talking about this sometimes, and I've been told, oh, you're talking rubbish, etc., that our number one target was Lopetegui. Yeah, the ex-Wolves manager, the ex-Seville manager, the ex-Real Madrid manager, the ex-Porto manager, the ex-Spain manager, and Spain youth. We've done a lot of due diligence on him. spoken to Wolves in Length, who did 7 years. They chased him for 7 years, taken references up, etc.
Who chased him for 7 years?
Wolves. It's on record. I'll send you the article that Wolves chased him for 7 years.
But Wolves owners haven't been there 7 years, have they?
I'm just telling you what the story says. I'll send you the link if you want to read it.
And Wolves haven't been in the Premier League for 7 years, have they?
Well, they were still chasing him. I'll send you the story. Anyway,
Okay.
let's not spoil the story. Now,
Wouldn't want the truth to getting away with a good story.
I've been saying that Tim Steidten has been charged with the due diligence, and yes, he has met with Lopetegui at least twice. He flew out to Spain some days or a week ago or something, and yes, he's met them in the UK. And look, there's been a lot of stories that Almiron was the choice of Steidten and Mark Noble. My understanding is Mark Noble's got nothing to do with this. He's a figurehead. He's not involved in the decision on the manager. But Steidten is. Steiden's an employee, and I'm sure he has to do due diligence and everything is told. Whether he's got a preference or not, I think sometimes people just talk of that who've got an agenda to say, look, there's two different managers here, and they're completely different apart. One is Steiden's choice. The other one is David Sullivan's choice. It is true that Will Salthouse, favoured agent, is involved in the deal. He's not the agent of Lopetegui, but I think that's George Mendes still. Somebody said that he might have parted with him. But there are usually multiple agents in these deals, and I think Will Salthouse, as I've been told by 3 people, was involved. And then automatically people go, well, this is a Sullivan pick. But look, the situation is, Jacob Steinberg said this, and so is Fabrizio now. And Fabrizio's got a very, very good source, right? This now is all but done, apart from the paperwork, the contracts, and the board voting for it, right? Because Sullivan can't decide himself. They have to vote. They have to get 51% of the votes to agree that this person, Lopetegui, is going to be our new manager. I believe Sullivan does have the right to veto, so he can veto it, but he doesn't get the final say. The board, and 51% of the votes, has the final say. So there could be a hiccup yet, but I doubt it. I'm sure they've talked to the board before this, and it's not just going to go to the board. So I think we're talking 95% Lopetegui will be our new manager from the 1st of July. 1st of July, because that's when all new contracts start. I'm not saying he won't be involved before. My understanding is his title is going to be head coach, not manager, and Steidten will be, the director of football, whatever his title is now, and do all the recruitment, and they will work together in that sort of European format. That's what I know. Almiron was always a bit of a wild card. Yes, they did some due diligence. Yes, they met him. But, and I keep on saying this, it is 20 million euros, 17 million pounds for a Premier League club. I've been told that by 2 different agents, and not the 12.8 million that other people have mentioned. That's just for a Portugal club. He wants £10 million a year. That's what he was charging Liverpool, right? In a 3-year contract. And there's an agent fee on top of that 3 million. That would be 50 million. And whether we like it or not, and yes, we would spend that much on a football player, that's not what David Sullivan does. David Sullivan gets managers that are free, that have got Premier League experience or connected to the Premier League some way. And, I'm not suggesting there has been no contact. It was ever not a serious contender. But it doesn't surprise me where we've ended up. And I don't want to say be careful what you wish for, but some people already... There's Lopetegui out already on social media, which I find hilarious. If it wasn't so serious, I find absolutely hilarious that people are going, well, I'm not renewing my season ticket if Lopetegui is going to be manager, and I'd rather keep David Moyes. Well, it's too late now, right? We don't own a football club. The decision's been made, and we're going to have to deal with it. Yes, I did a poll of nearly 5,000 people asking, would you rather keep David Moyes and Lopetegui? And 56% said they'd prefer to keep David Moyes, right? And I passed that on to senior source, and he thanked me for the info. But I think it's not going to make a shred of difference, no matter which way the fans feel. There you go. There's the news. John, do you have any response to that? Constructive?
That's just like I'm with Tony Cotty. The circus is well and truly running. It's I don't know. I wanted Moyes to leave.
Yep.
Didn't make no bones about that. I don't want to be told careful what I wish for because I haven't wished for anything. I just wanted to get something that will improve the game of football I watch week in, week out. I don't know enough about Lopetegui to know whether he will or not. I don't know anything really about Amarin, so I'm not. I've got no sort of skin in the game of who they choose, but it just smacks me of typical Sullivan business. Like you said, he was never going to pay the 17 million to buy him out. He was never going to pay it because he's got someone who's clearly capable free, and that's Sullivan all over. Now, if Amarin is a more ambitious, you know,
We don't know, but you said it right, and I'm in the same boat as you. We don't know enough about either manager. We really
no,
don't.
I don't. But the whole thing is just terrible. Ownership and running of a football club.
I would admit it's not been played out well.
It's just like, look,
played well in the media.
You know, we were 6 in January. We've won 2 games since then, or 3 games, or whatever since then. You know, at some point, if Lopetegui was the choice, he was sat at home doing fuck all. Why on earth, when it's all falling apart around their necks, did they not say, okay, this is what we're doing? He's going, Lopetegui's coming, or just bring him in. And like, how much is every position in the Premier League worth, Sean? Is it 2 million?
2.2 million, and you're right.
So
he's not cheap, by the way. When he was at he was earning £8 million a year.
So, Johnny, you say what are you advocating there? You're advocating that in January they should have sacked David Moyes and brought Lopetegui in.
What I'm saying is, when it's clear that they'd made a decision at whatever point they made that decision that he wasn't getting a new contract, and if Lopetegui was their chosen path, it would have made sense to do it then. Because what's happened since, we were clearly on a downward spiral. When you've only won 2 games since January, and that wasn't just like January and into February. That was quite early on that we weren't winning games, and our performances were going downhill rapid. That every position in the Premier League is £2 million. Every opportunity for any kind of change or bounce in the club could have kept us in the Europe positions. It just smacks me. I mean, I could understand it if they were waiting for this Amarin, who I don't know a lot about, or someone else that's Stuyton, because a lot of people have bought into this Stuyton, the football like director. He's like the pearl diver. He's got a plan. We're already playing 4-4-3 throughout different levels. We're all going to be doing, a lot of people believe in all that and believe in him, and they will see this as not his choice, and this is all going. When this goes wrong, this is all falling back on Sullivan's head.
I hope he comes out and says, actually, this was my choice, and I did the due diligence just to prove all the people wrong. Well,
unless he does something like that, people won't believe it.
Yeah.
And everyone will bring this back to Sullivan, and it doesn't. If he was this football director, the one who brought Alonso in, and the one who, if he had someone in mind that they were waiting for at the end of the season or whatever, I could understand. Let's play the season out and let it run its course. But when Lopetegui's the choice, and he's not in work, and we're falling off a cliff rapidly, and we still had opportunities to try and. I mean, it was only 4 games ago we were 6, or 5 games ago we were 6 still. There's an opportunity there to.
But it don't work like that in football, John. It don't work like that.
Why doesn't it?
I'll tell you why. Because when you're falling off the cliff, the results have been mixed, but the defeats actually have only stacked up in the last 5 weeks. before the Newcastle game, we'd actually only lost 3 in 2024, 3 league games, and they were all one after the other. They were Arsenal, Man United, and Forest.
But
So
isn't it pretty much since the Arsenal game that we
No, because what happened is that we also beat Brentford, Everton, drew with Burnley, drew with Villa in that run after the Arsenal game. So yes, we had a run where we lost to Man United, Arsenal, and then Forest, but then we beat Brentford, Everton, drew with Burnley. We should have beat them, but anyway, Villa, who had a late equaliser, and in the Newcastle game where we self-destructed after being 3-1 up with 15 minutes to go. And
So
they were fortunate with a dodgy penalty.
Yeah, but after Newcastle, then
So after Newcastle, but then after the Newcastle game, we drew with Tottenham and beat Wolves. Yeah.
But
So we've lost 7 games this calendar year, and 3 of them have been in the last 4 games.
But we've won what? How many points have we gathered this year?
It's
We've got
been a lot of draws. Do you want me to tell you? 1,
No, not
2,
really.
3,
Not really, but no.
6,
I mean, what
9,
difference?
10, 11.
I don't think the decision was made, John. I really don't.
16,
Now, you might
16
call that
points this
incompetent,
calendar year.
but I don't think they made a decision till recently.
No, yeah, I think actually, I think they were probably umming and ahhing, and I think they probably realised after the Palace defeat, because they looked at the Fulham game, got beat by Fulham at home, thought, oh blimey, he's gone to Palace and got absolutely tanked. And bearing in mind our second goal came from a back pass where a West Ham player didn't touch the ball. Otherwise it would have been a 5-1 defeat. And I think that's when they've realised, nah.
I think you're right.
We were in a false position in a way, and I'll tell you why I say false position, because of the teams below us we knew had games in hand. So while we were sitting 6, the teams below us all had 1 or 2 games in hand on us, and the points was that close that it was going to happen. You're never going to pull people. You can't pull the trigger on supposition. You have to let it play out, and we've played it out, and it didn't work.
They had opportunities.
You can't have hindsight. You can't. It's easy to criticise on hindsight. It is, but you have to let the season play out. I'm all for actually saying to teams, you can't sack a manager, and you, like the transfer window, that's when you sack a manager. So you either sack them in January or you leave until the end of the season.
So their lack of ability to make a decision has cost.
Well,
$8
you
million.
say that, but I don't. The thing is, I don't think they made the wrong decision.
Breaking news.
Letting it run out. Go on then.
I've just been tipped off that there will be an announcement today.
Today, well, listen. The thing about this is that, as typical with West Ham,
Yeah, definitely, just confirmed.
leaks like a sieve. Yeah, absolutely. There's a good chance that David Moyes learnt about this from social media or from people that have seen it on social media before the clubs had the bollocks to tell him. So
Yeah.
this is the problem. The problem is the way the clubs run. If David Moyes was their man, they should have gave him a 2-year contract after we won the cup. The fact that they never did that just shows you the shambolic. The fact that they were prepared to let a manager again run his contract down to nothing, and all this, I will make the decision at the end of the season. Crap. Bearing in mind, and this is the thing, this ain't the first time they've done this, and it panned out exactly the same way. Allardyce had West Ham sitting in fourth spot. Well, you say God bless him, John, but come on, let's play the games. I know you're trying to fucking roll me, but at the end of the day, he had us sitting in fourth spot.
I know he did.
Yeah, and he gave up, and the players gave up, because everybody knew it was the worst kept secret. Because we all knew, didn't we? We knew he weren't getting a new contract. and it just and people have got to play their games, and they forget they're playing games in front of the fans, time and time again. At some point, and this is the thing I don't get, all this anger at Moyes and everything. Don't get angry at Moyes. Get angry at them that run the club.
Sullivan. Yeah, get angry
Get
at him.
angry at them. Or the whole lot of them. The fact that Kretinsky comes in and he's just... The fact that, we've got a bloke who really actually pays no attention to the football club. Is that what we want?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of having an Arab run the club or someone that don't support the club or ain't West Ham. And I get that modern football has long surpassed anything. I'm proud to be a dinosaur. Yeah, I'm proud to believe in West Ham as being a different type of club, but it ain't. And the quicker they go, then the better it'll be, because Lopetegui's going to come in. Here's the thing. The only foreign manager they've ever appointed that's ever done anything decent was Bilic.
Yeah.
And he was coming into a club that he knew. Yeah? If you look at every other foreign manager they've appointed, Avram Grant, Pellegrini, it's only Bilic that's worked out.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It is a shower of shit.
And
again,
as for Lopetegui,
it always has been.
it is a mad reason why I think actually Lopetegui is the right fit. Is that if you brought someone in, and because what happened is that we've long complained on this podcast about you went from...
it's just been announced.
Oh, was it? What's it say?
Sean,
Go
put
on.
your phone on silent, Sean.
Sorry.
You can still get the messages.
Yeah, West Ham can confirm David Moyes will leave by mutual consent at the end of the season when his contract expires.
Right, there you go. Well, that's done then. By the time you listen to this, people, you'd have heard it anyway.
Yeah, of course you will, yeah.
So I'll just finish why I think Lopetegui was the right fit. And this is the thing is that we went from Zola to Avram Grant. Played different type of football. Avram Grant to Allardyce played a different brand of football. Allardyce to Bilic played different football. Then from Bilic to Moyes, different. Moyes to Pellegrini, different. Pellegrini to Moyes, different. No continuity in the style of play or the way it's set up. If what people say that I've read, because I don't really know a lot about Lopetegui, to be fair, I didn't think his Wolves team were that bad. I thought he did well at Wolves, considering they were sinking at stuff.
Yeah, he did.
They
He
were
got a
bottom
reaction,
of the table.
didn't he?
Yeah, he got a reaction, got them out, and he got them out of trouble when they were looking bang on the money to go down. So he's done that, and Gary O'Neill has achieved the same rifly results as what Lopetegui has. And we all love Gary O'Neill, but if he is the Spanish David Moyes, then it does make sense, because West Ham, like it or not, ain't got the money to rip up the whole squad and replace it. And this is a team that's been built to play a certain way. Now, some of the things I've read says to me he plays a bit further forward, which we can only all agree is going to be a better thing. Because Jesus Christ, you couldn't play further back than David Moyes' teams have been playing in the last few weeks. So, listen, the king is dead, as I say. Long live the king. Let's go forward with Lopetegui. I'll back him until he's not in charge anymore. I hope, for the club's sake, that he turns out to be as successful as David Moyes has.
Do you want me to read David Sullivan's statement?
Yep.
On behalf of everyone at West Ham United, I would like to offer our sincere thanks and gratitude to David for the contribution he has made to the football club during his time as manager. David has been responsible for a period of great progress and success in our history, and we're extremely grateful for his hard work, commitment and dedication to the role. David has been an absolute professional to work with, and he will leave with our greatest respect and good wishes. He deserves to be held in the highest esteem for the service he has given to West Ham United, and wish him every success for the future. By making this announcement now, it allows David to get the send-off he deserves from the West Ham supporters, to show our appreciation to him on our final home fixture of the season against Luton Town on Saturday.
Yeah. So it should.
Well, there's one bit there about getting the respect that he deserves, yeah? Hollow words from Sullivan. Because the respect that he deserves, it should not have been handled this way. This has only come about today because journalists have been briefed, and and rather than the club being on the front foot, it's on the back foot, like it always is. Like they are, Sean, the game.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they brief you, they brief them, and someone else who's involved in it has briefed Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
We've got a good idea who it is. I ain't gonna, for once in my life.
Oh, really?
For once in my life, I will keep my trap shut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's good for anyone, actually. But shame on that person as well, in my eyes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely. Shame on him and all.
Yeah.
Well, I just look forward to the saying, careful what you wish for stories more. But see, that doesn't hold any stead to me, because the majority, I think, who buy into all this think that Stein was going to bring us a new, young, amazing manager, develop the youth and go attacking everywhere. And that's what people were wishing for. So hopefully, I mean, I'm with you, Nigel. Good luck to Lopetegui. Come on, show us what you can do.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Do you want David Moyes'?
I thought you'd say David Golds then. Say, have you been in touch with him, Sean?
David
Is
Moyes
anybody there? Anybody there?
David Moyes is with Huey. I have enjoyed 4.5 brilliant years at West Ham and the club and left the club in a stronger position than I returned in 2019. When I joined West Ham for a second time, the club was one place above the relegation zone. It's been a terrific journey to achieve 3 consecutive seasons in Europe. After leading the club to safety, we guided the team to finish as the 6th and 7th in the Premier League, and I was delighted when we won the European Conference League title last June, the club's first trophy in 43 years. I'd like to thank all the players for their support and all the successes they have achieved over the last 4.5 years. I've really enjoyed working with everyone at West Ham, and I'd like to say thank you for the board for giving me the opportunity to manage this great club. I wish my eventual successor, the directors, the players, the staff, the fans and everyone at West Ham all the best for the future. There you go.
There you go.
End of an era, as they say.
Yeah,
it's the right thing to do. I'm glad. Whether it took the article from Henry Winter this morning, but I did tweet earlier that this was going to happen. I thought they might leave it until later in the week, but they've decided to nip it in the bud, quite rightly, and stop the news cycle now. So well done.
Well done.
Well, and John, you'll be there on Saturday because we will give him. I'm sure he'll do a lap of honour, and I hope he gets the reception he deserves.
I don't disagree. You know, you can't question what he's achieved. It's like, you know, it has been one of the most successful periods we've ever seen, if not the most successful period that I can remember, because I wasn't there for the cup final wins or whatever. So yeah, got to give him the respect it is due.
It makes Saturday even a bigger a party. Look, we're already. Are we still on for Maureen's, Nigel?
Yeah. We'll sort it out.
We're talking pre-air that we're going to meet at Maureen's and have a mash.
We'll sort it out. Did you like? I don't know if you put it through what I said about this. Let's have a little party by the canal.
Yeah. I haven't told him that yet, but let's not tell everyone.
All right. Well, I don't know. There was a bit of me thinking if we tell everyone, I'm willing to buy enough cases that the first people to come up and say, "I'll listen to the podcast," I'll give them a can of lager. What about if we?
Oh, there you go.
First eight
listeners.
Well, I'll maybe buy a few cases of lager.
All right.
and
But we've only got 8 listeners, so you could buy them all.
well, I could do, yeah. We could do. What about the first 8 to turn up get 1 can, but the 9th gets a 4-pack?
Yeah.
Something,
All right.
something stupid like that. And Dodsy's not included, yeah,
Yeah.
because we know he listens.
Yeah.
But
Dodsey stayed to the end. By the way, lots of people
Yeah.
either went back to the bar or
yeah,
abandoned.
I see, yeah.
But Dodsey did stay to the end, and I was being a bit of a baby reindeer and stalking him by zooming in on the video
I mean,
on his phone, doing his
Yeah.
bloody voice notes in the middle of the game.
we're all right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, you can't tell Siri what to say 'cause Siri can't speak West Country. I mean, I don't know. Listen, at the end of the day, we can now look at Moyes' record as West Ham manager, and like him or not, like the way he played football, or not, he stands up as the third greatest manager in West Ham's history out of 17. The best statistically in the Premier League, yeah. For goals scored, for points achieved, for league positions, and whether you like the way that we played or you didn't like the way we played, it brought results that this club had not seen. How good is the Conference League win? Fun enough, I don't think we can really judge it until we qualify for that tournament again. But for me,
Aston Villa are struggling now, aren't
well,
they?
look, let's see. Let's not
4-2
shoot
down.
Villa down. Yeah, 4-2 down. They lost at home to Olympiacos. Funny enough, who we beat at home.
Yeah, I know.
But what I will say is that where I think Moyes gets disrespected more for that Conference League win is the fact that we won 13 out of 14 games and drew the other game. I mean, to do what he did there in European football, the 17 games undefeated run, I believe, which was a record that Man City took away from us, funny enough, and same this season. His record, I hope in years to come that Moyes will be as fondly remembered as we remember the likes of Harry Redknapp and Alan Pardew and managers like that, because he deserves it. He is up there with Lyle and Greenwood for what he's achieved. Whether you like the way he did it or not, for me that's secondary. Achievements when put on paper, he's just in the top 3.
Yeah, when it goes concise to history.
Yeah.
That's
Well, he
what
is
he
now,
said.
isn't he? That's at the end of the day. Now that's it. It's done. We can look at him. We can finish off what he's.
I wonder how he approaches final 2 games. Obviously, he's going to be there. That's the whole point, managing Luton before people go caretaker manager. And obviously, City will be his last game. I wonder how he's going to approach his last 2 games. Do you think it would be any different
The
to
same
any
way
of the
he
others?
always
Yeah,
has. I
I
would have
knew
thought.
you'd say that.
Well, again, I've said it before. It baffles me that he had a free. I mean, I would have liked him to have left after the cup win on his own terms. Thank you. And that.
But they wouldn't have been his own terms, though.
No, he didn't want to leave. I don't think he wants. He wants to
Why
carry on.
he could have got? He could have left there as a club hero, couldn't he?
He don't. Who else? Is he not now?
I think he is.
I think it's tainted.
I think this whole mutual thing is a load of old bollocks. He would have taken he said last week, I would have stayed on. He was asked and he said, I'm embarrassed for you. Someone asked him and said, have you still got the fight? Have you still got the desire? And he went, I'm a football man. Do you still want to be here next season? He went, absolutely, I do. That was just on Thursday or Friday.
He kind of, like I say, he had an opportunity this season to try and change his
But
approach,
he will
didn't
get
he?
it. He was the longest serving Premier League manager, wasn't he?
No,
Who was?
Klopp's done 7.
Klopp.
Oh, right, okay.
9, sorry. Klopp's
So
done
after
9.
Klopp, he was second after Klopp then,
I
yeah?
think Pep's been there
Pep,
longer.
yeah, how long's he been there now?
2015, 16, didn't Pep
Oh, is he?
turn up?
All right.
Or
The
16,
third.
17?
The third then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. After Pep and Klopp.
Longest serving British manager.
Probably Wenger, isn't it?
Well, Wenger's not British.
No,
that's
no.
British,
faster. And Wenger's not managing. So.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm saying who had the longest tenure as a Premier League manager? Was it Wenger?
Well, so Fergie had from 92 to 2013. I think Wenger may have, yeah. Didn't Wenger do 22 years at Arsenal? So he may have done. He may have sneaked it. I mean, Moyes' record, I've got it up to date, believe it or not. Average goals per game is 1.56. Conceded is 1.6. On average, he wins 15 games a season.
Oh, Tony Conte is piped up again.
Yeah.
My suspicions appear to be correct, and if true, what a totally, utterly uninspired choice of new manager, in my opinion. Although, why are we surprised? The board have already given us Avram Grant, Emmanuel Pellegrini, with a massive summer ahead in terms of squad rebuilding and ageing team. Why would you not look at a young, dynamic, young British manager to piece it all together? Carrick, O'Neill, McKenna, Potter, not even mention. What a joke. A very fed up Hammer.
Well, you know, look, the thing I would say to TC there is let's have a bit of patience. You know, it could be Michael Carrick's turn in a couple of years. Let's face it. Let's be brutally honest here. Yeah, Lopetegui's got a max, you know, of 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, he's 57.
Before we move on again.
Well,
to the next one.
There is a scenario, and I hope I don't get in trouble with this because I did speak to Nick from Claret Booze just about an hour ago before we came on the air, and he's not happy, right, with Lopetegui as being our choice, and he said,
that's good because he does well not being happy.
Yeah, so Lopetegui out already started, you know. Anyway, I talked about a scenario, right, where he doesn't get off well, and by Christmas he's sacked, and they bring back David Moyes to save their season. And he goes, yeah, I can see that, Sean. I can see that. And that's someone else said that. It's not my idea, but you could see David Moyes coming back if this doesn't work out. By the way, Alan Repka replied to Tony Conte and made a good point. He said, Lopetegui has lost 67 games in 14 years. Moyes has lost 59 games in 3 seasons. Lopetegui lost 19 league games in 3 years. Moyes lost 20 last season. Not sure how anyone can say this is an uninspiring appointment, given no one better was even interested in coming here. And Tony replied, I hope you're right, Alan. I agree he's got a good record, but in my opinion, I just see this as another Pellegrini appointment.
Yeah, look, you know, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah.
You know, does he fit in? You know, the thing is, the biggest beef that even people pro Moyes,
yeah,
is the way we play. You can't dress up. You know, people have got their own how much they're willing to accept, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing is, David Moyes is self-titled. He's a defensive-minded coach, cautious.
Yeah.
Well, while he's got the best goal-scoring record for West Ham in the Premier League of goals per game, he's got the second worst for conceding we've had in the Premier League in goals. So, you know, and he's done that off the back of not being open, So he's done that. So Bilic conceded goals, but Bilic did that because we were more forward-thinking. Moyes hasn't. So, you know, there's a lot to take there out of it. So obviously someone's replied, Sean. Go on.
I was just talking senior source about the statement, that's all.
Okay. And he said,
No, it's not for publication.
"Oh right."
It's not for publication. I think they just wanted to do the right thing.
I do you know?
I did tell him that I did send a particular person the Henry Winter article first thing this morning.
Yeah, I just want to do. They just want to do the right thing. Sean, they are incapable of doing the right thing. This is not the right thing. This is not the right thing. And it shouldn't be dressed up as, oh, we've done the right thing. No, you ain't. The right thing would have been to make the decision and announce it there and then. Not allow a bloody foreign journalist to do it for you. Because
Do you not see it, Sean?
What's
it's
that?
embarrassing.
Do you not see how shit our football club has run?
I can,
Come on.
I see that the problem is that they're behind the news story and the news article and
All
they
the
don't-
time.
and they don't
Everything.
see it.
Every
there's
little
no-
thing.
And they were
From
probably
tube posts to this.
they were
it's just
probably naive to think it wouldn't get out doing their due diligence.
naive.
Naive,
Naive.
Sean.
Yeah,
Naive.
Maybe
They've
when
been
they've
in
run a club
football-
for a while.
Yeah. 30 years they've been in football. They got the Brady is held up as she's in the House of Lords, appointed there, so she become a business guru. And look how she fucking runs a business, Sean. It's embarrassing.
I'm not going to comment, right? So
Of course not.
you're entitled to your opinion. Let's tell the safe.
I don't know what I'm more staggered, Sean. The fact that you won't agree to that, or the fact that I'm surprised sometimes at the way they behaved.
I'm surprised you're surprised. If you've known behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz, for some time, you know how sausages are made. So
Yeah, so
I'm
it's a shit
surprised-
show. You know it's a shit show. So
By the way, there's a great article. By the way, ESPN did a massive article.
See that, John?
On
See diversion.
Lopetegui.
Talked over you.
And he
Fucking-
talks.
yeah.
He talks about
it should
a
be a
circus.
politician.
I'm
Isn't it?
talking
Fucking
about a circus. There's
You're
a great
talking
article.
bollocks, Sean.
There's a long read. Read the Lopetegui article. Long read for ESPN. Look, I don't know what you want me to say, boys. Right? The king is dead. Long live the king.
Well, just once in your life, like I think for me,
They could have handled this better,
have a
right? What do you want me to
backbone.
say? Tell me what you want me to say.
Well,
I'll tell you if I
just-
say.
No, do you know what? I'd like to know truthfully,
Go on.
yeah, what you think of the shit show that they have produced.
No, I don't. I think they have financially managed this club very well. I think the stadium move is
Oh,
a good
do
thing
you?
for us. Yeah, I
Do
do.
you?
I do. But
you think for
I-
like buying Haller for this and selling him for that and doing this and
well,
doing
hey,
this for
that's
that,
the
doing
management
that too.
decision. And look, lots of Chelsea and others have made massive mistakes, right? You buy a striker.
we had a good
for
old
40
run of
million.
it.
No, well, you ever look at a lot of clubs. You know, Everton, the reason they're in this, they've spent so much money on players, it doesn't work out, right? That's football, John, right? I think that Karen Brady's a good business person. And I think, you know, Sullivan didn't become a billionaire by being a bad business person. Have they made mistakes? Yes, they have. Many. But so have other chairmen, etc. So, I won't criticise them. Have they been naive on this appointment? Yes, they should have done. But I truly believe they've only made the decision recently. But once they made the decision, I think they should have sat down David and gone. And I think you're right. It might have been after the Palace and go, look, David, we're not going to renew you. Let's be honest. Let's just make an announcement before it was released by Jacob Steinberg and Fabrizio, etc. And then they're on the back foot when Henry Winter writes a piece saying, you know, we should give him a proper send-off. It shouldn't be down to the media to point that out. So they were wrong in that. That's as far as I'm going to go. Time for the safe story.
Yep, go for it.
So, at last...
Have you seen this thing that George has put on?
No, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So,
Okay.
last week, talked about... I had an old Woolworths safe, really sturdy safe, where the the batteries ran out, right, when the combination, like a hotel, safe, one of those 4-digit ones.
What was in it, Sean?
Jewelry, passports, other papers, etc. Other important documents. Yeah, it was a sort of fire safe and a safe. Anywho, I couldn't get in it, so and it had passports and everything. There was some really important stuff in there. So I called. I thought, who do I know? I'll call someone who used to be a locksmith or still is a locksmith. Do you still keep up your dues to the Locksmith Association, Nigel?
Well, I still get the Locksmith magazine.
Well, there you go.
I was once in a locksmith association, not the Master Locksmith Association.
Not Adam. What's his name?
No, the Master Locksmith Association wasn't for me, and I probably wasn't for them.
Adam. What's his second name?
Jackson.
His Ferrari and his McLaren doesn't pay for itself, you know.
No. Look, there's listen. Certain people know why I don't. Why
Join
I
those
moved.
organisations.
Yes, and why I stepped away from being a full-time locksmith and moved into the electronics security games. There's various different paths in being a locksmith. So
anyway, we'll do a locksmith.
I made my bed, I had to lie in it.
Anyway,
basically.
so I looked a bit of YouTube, and there was a bump method, right? It's called the bump method. So I showed him this. He went, "Go on then." So you bump the top of it, and apparently it makes a solenoid jump down, and you open it up, right? And Nigel went, "Good luck with that." Well, he didn't. You did say use a rubber hammer. I was using a metal hammer.
I know, yeah.
And he went, use a metal hammer. Bump doesn't work. So if you're ever trying that. Second one was to use a magnet. Now I do a bit of magnet fishing. So I put a magnet underneath, right? That failed. So then we got into he said, well, try and join the lockup. Use a
No. The first thing is unfortunately you'd already butchered the key way.
No, the key, that was what it was like already. But you said
well,
try and move
someone
around the
must
room.
have butchered it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Right, so someone's already had a go and butchered the key override that I could have told you, but then all right. So
then you said drill it out.
Yeah, which I didn't expect you to push it into the fucking
So
door.
I drilled it out, right? I broke a drill bit. I didn't tell you that. But the first drill bit I broke. And I'm sending in Nigel pictures all the way through. So the first drill bit I broke. Anyway, I went up to a bigger drill bit and it pushed it through. Right? So it's now rattling in the safe. And I'm going, I didn't want to do that.
Oh.
So then I go to Nigel. I said,
I
found two cables, 2 wires. And he said, we'll put a battery on it. And he sent us a note. My son Finley was helping us. And he said, connect the positive, but don't short it out. He said, really important,
Connect the positive to the red.
Yeah.
But don't short it out. Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't say connect the black to the negative.
No, I just assumed.
My son argued that.
I just assumed that would be, if you've got 2 wires and you've got a positive and negative, just make sure the positive goes to the red. I think that is what my text said. But anyway, continue.
So then I sent him a picture and we did connect it, but worked out afterwards, actually, that battery just went to the battery thing and the circuit board.
You missed a bit of when you sent me a photograph and said it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because you'd only connected the positive to the red, not the negative to the black.
So then we connect it, but then it didn't work because then we found out afterwards those 2 cables just went from the battery to the thing. It wasn't the solenoid one. But then suddenly, right, I think you then
I
said
sent you a picture showing you where the solenoid was
Yeah.
on a different
you
side.
did.
You need to push that down, which Finley
So
managed to do.
we did. We managed to get a light in there and see the solenoid, and we got a thin screwdriver down, pressed it open, hey press. So there you go. If you only 2 hours of our life, but we did get it open. I can recommend Nigel for if you get a position where it's lawfully you're safe and you need to get in it.
I
If it's
can't
not
tell
your
you why.
safe,
I can't tell you why that's funny on here. But anyway.
talking of that, off
Oh,
air, you never
dear.
told me the auction place, but I have got just for
No.
last thing.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it.
but
I
you
think I
got
know
one.
what it is. I've got
Yeah.
I've now got a Thames Ironworks share certificate from 1864.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was signed by 3 directors at the time. One of them was Frank Hills, the father of Arnold Hills. It said Frank Hills made all the money. Arnold Hills lost it all and went bankrupt. That's what the history books say. The second person who was signing it was Alan Churchill Spencer, or Spencer Churchill, great uncle of Winston Churchill, who apparently helped a guy he was a big investor and helped found the Thames Ironworks to begin with before Arnold the Hills came along. And the third person was called Captain John Ford. And I've done a bit of history on him, an American who founded the Pittsburgh glass factory and made steamboats in America and was the managing director of Thames Ironworks. So it's a nice little collector's item. And you tried to research the shareholder, didn't you?
Yeah, I did discover him. Because it's weird how they used to write years ago. Because funny enough, when you asked me the name, you put Law, and obviously it was Tor.
Tor.
But I'd spent half hour looking for Law because I thought it was an L.
Oh, you thought it was L too.
And then I looked at it and then did a bit of digging and realised it could be a T. Changed it to Tor, and then that matched me with the right person at the right address.
There you go.
He was obviously he was a city trader and dealer. Lived in Lamb's Conduit Street, which is I think it's off like down by Holborn. Lamb's Conduit Street, still there. The black cabbies will know it. So yeah, I mean they're interesting documents.
Joseph Della.
Yeah, Tor. Yeah.
And you reckon he moved to... So they were selling at this point in 1864.
Yeah.
They were raising £500,000 in 5,000 shares of £100
Yeah.
each.
So
This guy bought 2.
Yeah, so what you got to look at there is what was happening around that time. So in the 1860s, that's when the Hills family... Because what you got to remember is that the Thames Ironworks was there was a shipyard there already, C.J. Mears, and then
That's
it was
right.
Ditchburn and Mears. Ditchburn and Mears had gone went bankrupt. Might have been Ditchburn and Mears first, then C.J. Mears, but whatever way round, one of them had gone bankrupt, and then that's when Arnold Hill's father Frank came into the business in the mid 1860s. Obviously, they then started issuing stocks, and that was when the expansion. Big time happened with the ironworks when they first moved onto the River Lee side. Onto the Essex side of the River Lee from the Middlesex side, which is around Trinity Wharf. So yeah, it's
wrote. Do you ever heard the guy? He was the guy who bought the company assets to turn into Thames Ironworks in 1850. Related to the Greenwich MP, I think, or something. It was all a bit incestuous.
Well, that's
it is an interesting thing.
What's this got to do with Moyes leaving, by the way?
It's not. It's a bit of West Ham history. It's our history corner. The last thing I'd say is I didn't know till recently, until I was doing a bit of research, is the reason Thames Ironworks went bust is all the Navy orders dried up, and it was 1912. And he wrote to Winston Churchill begging for some orders to keep it alive.
That's correct. And he actually
2 years later, obviously, they would have survived because they went into the First World War.
There is footage of him going to the Admiralty, and by that time he couldn't walk, and he was carried on a stretcher.
Oh, is it?
This is Hills. So the last ship was built in 1911, and there were no orders. But the problem is that the shipyards up at the Tyne and on the Clyde and on the Wear, they had the problem with Thames was it was too far upstream. Couldn't build the bigger ships that were needed. The mad thing about it as well is not only did we miss out, we built some ships to fought in World War One, but I think we'd built half of the Japanese Navy as well.
Yeah.
We'd built a lot of the Japanese ships in the early 1900s.
Yeah. And anyway, as John said, it's not a history podcast, but yeah, it will go with my Thames Iron Works hammer as a very nice bit of memorabilia. Anything we want to say going back to what you said, John, on Moyes?
No, I want to go now because I've got my Chinese just turned up.
Oh, right. Well, you go. What's your prediction before you go, what's your prediction for Luton on Saturday, apart from we're going to get very drunk?
Oh, I think we're going to win 3-2.
Oh, just had something from Len saying rumours of Noble leaving. Interesting.
Yeah, just seen that.
Yeah. All right, John, enjoy your Chinese. Nigel, what is your prediction?
I predict Mark Noble won't leave.
Yeah, me too. Because a lot of shit.
Where's he going to go?
No other fucker will have him. Yeah.
Well, does he need the job?
Probably not. He's got a lot of property.
Why would he go? Because he's upset because Moyes has been let
I
go.
think that's the rhetoric. That's the agenda. Yeah, because we're appointing Lopetegui and he wanted Amran, I'm sure, is what the agenda mongers will say.
Okay, all right.
Enjoy your Chinese, John.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
See you later.
See ya. Nigel, what did you say?
Well, my prediction for Luton is actually we will win 3-1.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go for a 1-0 win just to make it a little bit different. But we'll have a good time. We're seeing off Huey. Huey's funeral was on Friday, and I just want to say thank you for Mickey Bubbles, Mickey Bowen, who's the bubble man, who does the bubbles and the fire on European nights. And do you know what? Real big respect to him. He lives in Stratford, and he saw Huey was having his funeral on Friday, which would have been his 80th. That's Huey Southern, his 80th birthday. We buried him in Rugby, and it was a small ceremony, family and friends. And he travelled all the way to Stratford to be at the funeral, to put the bubble machine on as we put bubbles as the service ended. So well done, Mickey Bubbles. And I will be talking to him and getting him on the podcast sometime, because I do think there's some interesting stuff to know about bubbles. He was telling me a lot of bubbles, right?
Well, of course, Sean, we were part of the SAB that helped get bubble machines.
Yeah, I know.
So perhaps Mickey...
Well, I was telling him that this Japanese... Do you remember when I did a Japanese article when the stadium was coming and the club put me in touch with the Japanese broadsheet, one of the biggest newspapers, and all they wanted to know is about bubbles. And the one question they asked me, and I was telling Mickey Bubbles this, how many bubbles would fill the London Stadium?
Right.
Well, it's impossible to know, so I just made up a figure. I think I said 22.2 million bubbles. It sounded a plausible number.
Right. Well, what you got to do is you got to obviously work out what the volume and the square footage of the Olympic Stadium. Then obviously work out what the diameter of a bubble blown by one of Mickey Bubbles' bubbles machines.
Yeah.
And then you can, presto. Or you could get John Lennon, if he was alive. Maybe instead of writing how many holes there are in Blackburn,
and
Lancashire, John Lennon could have
Gonzo was there as well, right? But he's offered us, and I'm sure this includes you and any of the other podcast boys, a behind-the-scenes Bubbles tour.
Yeah, well, I've already said I'll take him up.
Yeah, I know you would. It's the kind of thing.
Strangely enough, I would
including how he made the special, the unique machines.
Yeah, unique
that
machines,
you need to do that.
And the special sauce that goes into...
Oh, it's special liquid as well. And at once they had smoke in it and stuff. Anyway, that's it. Obviously the title for this will be something about Moyes.
King is dead.
The king is dead. Long live the king. I don't think we're doing a question time, are we, this week? Because it's a bank holiday and we've got other family stuff to get on with.
I don't know what people.
Tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. We'll see.
Tomorrow,
We'll
yeah,
see.
we're not doing
We just
one
don't
now.
know. Yeah, we'll
I
see.
mean,
we discuss it off air, right? We shouldn't have a meeting.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's funny, you know, as you've heard us, we've to digest exactly what's gone on.
Just don't believe everything you read, right? There's a lot of agendas set in. All we know is the announcement. What we know as a fact is David Moyes will not be our manager next season. He's definitely leaving on the 31st of June. We can say goodbye to him.
But I think we can
there will be a new manager,
yeah,
which will probably be Lopetegui.
I think we can
he's still
infer,
got to sign a
though,
contract.
Sean. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the fact that it didn't get to the end of the season, the fact that there was no sit down together and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
That
it wasn't mutual.
This is more club than manager.
I think you can agree that, yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's it for this week. We're on the 80-minute mark. I'm surprised we talked for so long. The save probably took up some of it and the history bit. But I've been Sean. Nigel has been...
Yeah, I'm a bit obviously disappointed, but hey ho, that's football.
Yeah. And Johnny's long gone eating his Chinese. Come on, you Irons.
Bobby Moore, more than just a podcast. Bobby Moore, more than just a podcast.
I think they're probably getting the biggest win rate out of a certain amount of managers as well. So I think if you're putting it that way, that's what I do. I win. And I'm coming here to West Ham initially to try and get us wins and away from the wrong end of the table.